In terms of money, we frequently feel as though we're falling behind. No matter how much progress you make, it never feels like you're financially well off, and there's always someone in your age group who seems to be doing better. However, I'm here to tell you that you're probably doing better than you think. I've got some eye-opening financial facts to share with you, along with some advice to help you stay on the right track. In the United States, appearances can be deceiving. Consider this. Imagine there are two games for determining how well you're doing financially. The first is the status game. Many people feel financially behind because they're focused on this game. It's like a competition to have better stuff than others, like a big house or fancy car. The problem is that there is no end to this game. You've probably seen those on social media, like Instagram or Facebook posts, of people living the high life. But in reality, they may not have as much money as they appear and are struggling to make ends meet. This game forces you to compare yourself to others. So it's constantly changing since you're comparing yourself to what you see on social media. For instance, buying a luxury automobile only makes you appear good if others don't have one. If everyone has one, it doesn't benefit you. It can make you feel worried all the time and is like a never-ending race, because there will always be someone richer and with greater things than you. The second game is the wealth game, which is different from the status game in that it is more concerned with what goes on behind the scenes. With the money you save, invest in starting a business and spend on items that will provide a profit. Don't focus your definition of financial success on the status game. Instead, base it on creating the groundwork for financial freedom and living life on your terms. You'll realize you're performing better than you initially believed after you get this. Like a movie trailer, the status game just presents the highlights. After seeing this video, consider if you're playing the correct money game. Now allow me to offer some financial statistics. In the UK, did you know that 57% of Americans don't have emergency savings? It is important to be prepared for emergencies because they can and will happen in life. 40% of people do not have enough money to cover 1 month's worth of living expenses in the event of a job loss, and 57% of Americans cannot handle a $1,000 emergency. This indicates that many people are ill-prepared for unforeseen financial difficulties. In fact, 20% of Americans have no savings at all. If you have more than $1,000 saved for emergencies, you are ahead of 60% of Americans. Saving in these circumstances, having money is crucial. Ideally, you should aim to save 3 to 6 months' worth of your monthly expenses. If your job is very stable, you can aim for 3 to 4 months' worth of expenses saved. But if it's not, you might want to aim for 6 to 12 months' worth. Here are some tips for emergency savings. Create a budget as soon as you get paid and put aside a small sum for emergencies. You won't have to worry about investing this money to increase in value. Your emergency fund should be immediately available in case of need, and you should only utilize it for true emergencies rather than routine needs. Put this money away for the worst-case situations. Savings for even 1 month's worth of living expenses is a big step toward financial security. Let's discuss some more startling facts. 1 in 3 Americans do not have any money set away for retirement, which means that 33% of all Americans have nothing set aside for their later years. These are the years when people need money, such as when they are 60 or 70 years old. Did you realize that this statistic applies to all Americans? If you don't save for things like rent, food, electricity, and transportation, you may have to rely on others for support, such as your children, grandchildren, friends, or even the government, but they may not take care of you as well as you'd like. So it's critical to start thinking about this. Now, it's your responsibility to take care of your future self. So invest your money today, even if it's a small amount. The last statistic I'd like to share with you surprised me. 50% of Americans use credit cards to meet basic regular costs. On average, Each American household has around $6,000 in credit card debt, totaling $930 billion. This means there's nearly $1 trillion owed in credit card debt across the country. Interestingly, younger people, such as 61% of Generation Z and 53% of millennials, frequently use credit cards to cover their essential living costs. Credit cards are not inherently evil, as long as they are used sensibly and the balance is paid in full each month. However, they have not provided me with a road to financial success. According to studies, people tend to spend more when they use credit cards. They can also make it easy to spend more than you can afford, and it's easy to accumulate debt if you're not careful. Many people are taking on more credit card debt to protect their lifestyles from economic challenges such as inflation. So if you're able to save money, have an emergency fund, and pay your bills without going into debt, you're doing better than a lot of people. So let me ask you this: how much money do you think you should be making to be financially satisfied? According to Forbes, the average salary in the US is around $57,406. But here's the thing: these numbers don't really determine how we feel about our own earnings. Research says it's more about what our friends and peers are making. If they're earning more, it can make us feel unhappy, even if we're doing pretty well. There's this idea called losers pay more. If we find out we're earning more than our friends, it feels good, but that feeling fades quickly. On the other hand, if we find out we're earning less than them, it hits us hard and we feel unsatisfied. It's a tricky cycle because as we make more money, our friends do too, and we keep comparing ourselves to them. This brings me to the topic of societal versus individual success. In basic terms, our perception of how successful we are is frequently influenced by what society expects and how we compare ourselves to others. Assume you have a unique pair of glasses that can alter your perspective on life. It's similar in that our society frequently celebrates people with a lot of money, fancy things, and high social status. But what if we put on a different pair of glasses and looked at success from our own point of view and started measuring our success based on what matters to us as individuals, rather than what society says? We can see ourselves in a whole new light, which frees us from constantly comparing ourselves to others and trying to meet society's expectations. It's like breaking free from a game where other people make the rules. Imagine having to choose between being really good at something, but everyone thinks you're bad at it, and being really bad at something, but everyone thinks you're great. It's like asking whether you'd rather be at the top of the social ladder, even if you're not really there, or being in the middle, but knowing you're the best according to your own standards. It's about choosing between being fake with your life and being honest and true to yourself. There's a quote that says, if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. So it's time to change our perspective on success, value our individual standards, and break free from society's expectations. Remember that true satisfaction comes from recognizing that your financial journey is unique and that your definition of success is most important. If you find value in this video, please share it with someone you care about and want to inspire on their financial journey. I hope you enjoy this video as much as I enjoyed making it. I wish you success in your financial journey and thank you for watching. Please subscribe and set on notifications for more stuff. Have a fantastic day or evening, and I'll see you in the next video.